and then use AI as a starting point, it's awesome. You can create content with that, you can create images with that, technology using AI, including Microsoft's own Copilot AI stuff. But AI is not you, it doesn't replace you. It only makes you better, and use it wisely, and to help you a lot that way.
And speaking of getting better, a lot of our viewers in our remaining time would really like to know how you worked your way up your career, because you started off doing this as a hobby, then you were designing slides, but then you worked your way up to a position of real thought leadership where companies around the world are paying you as a consultant to help them. Tell us the various steps you took to
Okay.
get to that thought leadership. By the way, you have written a number of books, which anyone who wants to check those out, they can find those on Amazon and other online bookstores. But take us just briefly through that journey of how you worked your way up the food chain of the PowerPoint world.
So I partly spoke about it, how I got started into doing presentations and stuff, creating the website and design. And soon after that, after I was awarded as an MVP, Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, it's my 23rd year, consecutive year of being an MVP. And what has happened along the way is I have designed presentations and interacted with a lot of clients. I have attended a lot of industry events. And what I found like around 9 or 10 years ago is a lot of people are asking me questions and I'm helping them out. So essentially, I was to some extent doing consulting. So again, this was organic and part of evolving. I got into thing, and now what I primarily do is do consulting to presentation companies, PowerPoint add-in developers, PowerPoint designers, and organizations and stuff like that. So that's how I got there. Naturally, it's not as easy to go into detail about describing 23, 25 years of what I've done in such a little time. There's so much more to that, but this is how the journey has been.
When you look into your crystal ball, where do you see things going in, say, the next 5-10 years? Now, I started something recently, almost as not a complete joke, but almost. I started a cloning speaker bureau. And so my clone is available to give keynote speeches. In theory, someone could have their clone speaking and then have their slides, their PowerPoint slides coming up and down. Others might say, well, that's too gimmicky and we want the real person. Do you see clones being a part of people? Because I let me step back. I do see clones as a part of the future. So many executives, experts are asked to give speeches all the time. And let's say someone needs me in Hyderabad where you are, but it needs to be 9 a.m. your time. Well, that's 1 a.m. for me. I can't get up, especially if they're not paying a full fee. But I could have my clones speak at any length of time and do Q&A. So I really do see that happening, but I'm wondering what you see as the future, as AI takes a lot of different forms, clones being one of them.
This is something that's it's still evolving. To say what's going to happen in the next few years, it's very difficult because we did not know a few years ago what would happen today. And having said so, about the clone stuff, you say your clone goes and represents you, but then what if some questions are asked of the clone? Okay, and the clone gives answers because AI fed into the clone. But isn't it possible that if you were there live in person, you probably would have given a different answer? Okay?
Well, I tested that. First of all, my clone doesn't pull, and the way most people's clones are, if they do it right, it's not pulling from the internet. It's only pulling from my books and my other books and my online courses and my YouTube, what I've actually said on YouTube. So if someone asks me something that I haven't written about or talked about, my clone is programmed to say, hey, you got me. I don't know. So it's transparent there. So it's not like it's going to start giving people solutions to the Middle East crisis when that's not something I've written about or talked about or want to get involved with. So in answer to your question, I think sometimes I give a lot better answers than my clone does. Sometimes they're pretty similar, but if I'm being honest and fair, sometimes my clone gives a better answer because it has more detail. It has a perfect memory and recall, whereas mine doesn't. So we'll talk about this again next time.